everybody. Welcome to this Planmeca Romexis Smile Design, in which you will learn how to design realistic smiles for your patients. So my name is Saila Parmes and I work as a product manager here at Planmeca in Finland. And for the next 40 minutes or so I will be telling you all about our Smile Design software. We will see what are the benefits that you can gain from using it, and then we will also see how you can use it once you have downloaded the free trial or purchased the software. And at any moment, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the questions section. I will be answering your questions only after this webinar. And if you need to leave earlier, then you can still type the questions there and I will answer you by email afterwards. So, first of all, if you want to start smile designing with our software, there are two things that you need. You need the software and you need a camera. So first of all, the software, we have it available as two different ways. If you don't have yet Planmeca Romexis software, then the easiest way for you is to get our free trial, which is available online. And that's a standalone version, so you can download it on any computer, Windows or Macintosh. And as said, there's a free trial that is for 30 days that you can try and see how it works for you, and after that you can continue with a monthly subscription. Then again, if you would have already our Planmeca Romexis software with the 2D imaging, 3D imaging or CADCAM images and data, so then the best way for you would be to contact your local dealer and ask for adding the Smile Design module into your existing license and into your existing Planmeca Romexis installation. So that way you would have Smile Design as one additional module inside the same software, and that would allow you to again have all the patient data in the same database without needing to export and import or open different softwares while looking at the patient's information. So those are the two options that you have for the software. Then when it comes to the camera, well, we only require a normal 2D camera. This is something that of course depends a lot on what are the requirements for you. How good do you want the images to be when you look at them very close in the software. So we recommend it would be a reflex camera, Canon, Nikon, whatever that you might already have, but we also recommend you to have a ring flash around the camera. So that way you would get good images from the teeth. So we would take two images from the patient, one image when they are smiling normally, naturally, and then another image with the retractors, so that we would see also better the gingival areas in the patient's mouth. And when it comes to the camera setup, how should you take the images? So we would recommend you to have the patient sat down on a chair like we see on this image, also preferably against a wall. You could even place a book behind patient's neck here, so that if they need to push the book against the wall to keep it in place, that way it's more probable that they are not also moving their neck in between of the retractor and face images. So that's just a tip for you that you can use if you have patients that are moving a lot around. And then of course the camera could be used on a stand as we see here, so that there would be no extra movement from the camera side either. But once you have the software and once you have a camera with which you can take the images with, then you are ready to start smile designing with our system. So then if we look at the benefits that you get from using Planmeca Romexis Smile Design software, maybe the biggest benefit could be the improvements that you gain when communicating with the patient. So first of all, we can quickly create a fast smile simulation for the patient without needing to go already into the treatment phase. So first of all, we get the patient, of course, involved in the treatment planning. We can discuss more easily the different treatment options. More easily, we can also explain the patient what are the problems that they might have, or what are maybe if they have some wishes for their teeth that you don't see necessary. So you can also explain those very easily with the help of Smile Design. And that way you can improve the patient acceptance at the end of the treatment. Of course, it can work as a sales tool, so if the patient thinks that they have one small problem only in their teeth and don't want to undergo a bigger treatment, you can also explain them visually what are the differences between one or another way of treating the teeth. And for example, here a good example of the benefits for communication with the patient is one client of ours told that his patient wanted to have the teeth of Tom Cruise. And this dentist knew that the teeth of Tom Cruise wouldn't fit to this patient. So what he did was he took a photo of Tom Cruise's teeth, put it in Smile Design, copied the shape of Tom Cruise's teeth, saved it to the Smile Design library, opened up the patient's own face image and put this silhouette on top of the patient's own face. And this way he could clearly show the patient that the teeth, even though how good they look on Tom Cruise's face, they just wouldn't fit this specific patient. So that's another way of using Smile Design also. Then, apart from helping you to communicate better with the patient, Smile Design also brings benefits to the actual design of the smiles. So we have different kinds of tools. They are very versatile, and there are many different ways that you can work with the tools. You don't always need to use all of them, but you can also, of course, use all of them if you see it necessary and helpful for your specific workflows that you are used to. So we have image modification tools. An example of that we can see here. So we can mirror shapes from one side to the other. So to replace, for example, a missing tooth. This I will show you later in the demonstration also. Then we also have this silhouette. So this is the intelligent Smile Design silhouette that we have in our software. It's very flexible to use, and it helps you a lot in knowing the proportions of the teeth that you are designing. So that is a very helpful tool for the symmetrics of the smile and also for the proportions of the smile if you are interested in golden proportions, for example. Then there are also free drawing lines like we can see here, so we can analyze the face with the different lines. We can also do automatic measurements as we see here on the silhouette, and there is the tooth shape library where we can even save our own designs as wanted. And I told you in the beginning that you can have two images from the patient, so the natural smile image and then the retractor image. So those two images can be put one on top of another to obtain all the information of the patient's smile and do the full design of the teeth, even though they would be half left behind the lip when the patient is smiling. So all that can help you in also in creating that beautiful smile for your patient. Then it also brings, the software also brings benefits to your communication with your colleagues. So first of all, of course, all the images and all the modifications that we do, they can be brought out from ROM Axis as normal JPEG images if you want to send them by email or so. Also, if you would be interested in creating this kind of automatic PDF report that is done by a few clicks also automatically by the software. So there you would have all the images and all the measurement information added here. And so that is, like said, it's a 2-page PDF file that can be then sent or printed out for the lab or for the colleagues. And also if you would be using our Romexis cloud image transfer service, then you could send all this data to anyone who has an email account directly from the software. So communicating with the colleagues is also very easy if you are using our Smile Design software. Then last but not least, if you are a CADCAM user, or if you have a technician who will then do the actual design in CADCAM systems, then you have also functions for bringing the Smile Design silhouette, which has been made on top of a 2D image, bringing that on top of the CADCAM systems and using it as guideline and reference. And it actually works with any CADCAM system, and also it actually works with any software. So even if you would be doing orthodontic planning, you could still bring the Smile Design silhouette on top of that orthodontic software. And but if we look at the CADCAM system, we have here as an example, of course, our own PlanCAD Easy. So we would bring the Smile Design silhouette that we have designed, bring it on top of the intraoral scan, and place it on top of it and use it as reference. And from there we could either mill the mock-ups. In this case it was 4 veneers, so we could mill the mock-ups for the patient to try in their mouth, or we could 3D print the final model and create the silicon key from there for mock-up creation to the patient's mouth. So of course, doing Smile Design in the software, it doesn't delete the necessity of creating a mock-up. You can still do that, but just so that you know that you have these tools also to bring the Smile Design silhouette that you have agreed with the patient on, to bring that into something realistic, 3-dimensional, and to bring that into the mock-up to the patient's mouth. Okay, but those are the benefits, and now I will show you some use cases and real users of our Smile Design system. So for example, here we have a patient who has a stain right there, and maybe the patient comes into your office and says that they want that stain to be removed. So you can easily show in a few seconds how would their smile look like when the stain would be removed. Then you might point out to the patient that maybe, are you happy now with the smile? But as you know, once you fix the kitchen in your house, you will start noticing that maybe the living room should be also renovated, and then after that the bathroom and the bedroom and so on. So also here, once the stain has been removed, maybe the patient thinks that their smile line is not so perfect, so you can easily show them how would it be with some veneers to the teeth 11, 12 and 13, as we see here. And then for example, we can even add some whitening and different shades for that to show the patient what would be their ideal end result. So all of this can be discussed before going to the actual treatment, so that we get a happy customer at the end, and we can exceed their expectations on the treatment end result. And here you see a few different cases. So as you can see, you can work with Smile Design with any type of cases. So whether it's stains that you need to remove, veneers that need to be created, missing teeth that need to be replaced, or even this kind of vampire teeth that need to be fixed. So all of those cases, you can find tools for those in our software. then if we look at the existing Smile Design users, or a few of them. So we have here Dr. Walter Renan. He's from the Medical University of South Carolina in USA, and he has done really nice videos on using Smile Design in his cases, and actually he also uses our Emerald intraoral scanner and also our implant planning module in ROM Axis. So if you are interested in seeing how he uses Smile Design, I really recommend you to go and look at Walter Renan's YouTube account. So if you go to YouTube and look for Walter Renan, so you will find a lot of his videos. I think he does almost maybe 2 videos a month, 2 new videos a month or more. And another user then that we have here in Finland is Mr. Aki Linden, and he actually has helped us to develop the software, and he has made even a case report on how he uses the Smile Design in his office. So he's a dental technician, but he still gets to meet the patients and discuss with them the different outcomes of the treatment. And the third dentist that I want to present you to, a real Smile Design artist, is Dr. Kirill Kostin. He's from St. Petersburg, Russia, and he really likes the use of Smile Design. He says it's one of his favorite instruments, and you can also find a video on his user experience telling how he finds Smile Design and other Planmeca systems from this website shown below. And he actually has also created a Facebook group which is called Fit Users Group, Planmeca Fit Users Group, and there's over 1,000 members in that Facebook group at the moment, and there's a lot of conversation on all digital tools and also on Smile Design. So if you haven't yet found that Facebook group, I really recommend you to join it. So everybody can join it, but Dr. Kirill Kostin just needs to accept your petition. So the name was Planmeca Fit Users Group in Facebook. Okay, but then next let's go to the actual software, and I will show you a demonstration on how you can work with it. So I have here now the standalone version of the software. So this is the version that you would get if you have downloaded the free trial from the online pages. So what you would do is either you can open up an existing patient from the list, or if you want to add a new patient, you start by adding patient. You give an idea, you give a first name, and you give a last name. Then you click on Save to create the patient, and then you can go to the next steps, so as start Smile Design. So when we start Smile Design, we have first taken those images from the patient, and we have them on our computer, so we bring them from this import button on the left side. So we browse to our image folder, we select the face image from the patient, click open, and it opens up here. The actual Smile Design process, it's quite easy to follow. So we start from the first tool here and we continue rightwards. So the first step is the alignment and cropping. So we use these blue and red dots. We bring them onto 2 reference points on the image. With these 2 reference points we align the image. So we double click on the green dot in the middle, double click, and the image is now made horizontal with these 2 dots. Then if we would have a fully edentulous patient, then we could also use these lines below to mark the midline and to mark the position of the teeth. So, but this is not it's not necessary for this case because it's not a fully edentulous patient. But if it would be, I would position these two lines on the upper and lower line of the upper lip, this line on top of the lower lip, and that way the tooth silhouette would be positioned automatically here. So that is for a very useful tool for fully edentulous patients. Apart from that, we can also crop the image. So from either or all of the sides of the image, you can get the cropping lines so that you can crop out the unnecessary parts of the teeth. And then by clicking again on the tool icon, then the cropping is made. After that, the second step is called calibration. So you click on the calibrate button, and then for the calibration we have needed to measure some distance from the patient's mouth. So for example, for this patient we measured this distance and it was 8.1 millimeters. So that is something that you need to find some measurement from the patient's mouth, preferably, that you can measure and that you can mark here to calibrate the image. Why we do this calibration is so that the measurements that ROM Axis will later automatically do, so we know that we can trust those measurements. Okay. Then after the calibration, I'm going to go down here on the second row of tools, and we have a clone brush tool here. So I will start by using the clone brush, and then we will go back up to the teeth tool. So with the clone brush we have actually three different modes here. So these are image modification tools. So we have the actual clone tool, we have the warp brush, and we have the mirroring tool. So the cloning tool, it's basically copying. So the copying works very well, for example, for this kind of stain removals. So with the mouse left click, I select, mouse right click, I select a place where I want to copy from, and then with mouse right click, I copy that place there. So that way you can easily remove the stains or copy any, for example, good shade on top of another teeth. We also have the warp brush mode here. So warp brush is like stretching. So you can stretch whether it's the gingiva or whether it's the crowns. So for example here I could stretch these teeth so that to design as if we were gonna add some veneers on these teeth, or if we want to do some crown lengthening here on the other side. So it works for quite many things, and you can very quickly get very realistic and good looking changes to the patient's smile. By the way, if something goes here wrong, you always have the undo and redo buttons up here that you can use. There's also the third mode, mirroring, but I will show you that on top of another patient where it makes more sense to use. But the mirroring is, of course, it's copying by mirroring. But let's look at that later. So now once I had designed the modifications to the image, then I'm going to go to the silhouette tool, the tooth tool, which is the third on the first row. Here the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to position the midline accordingly to the patient's existing midline, and then from the left or right side blue dots we can scale the silhouette to the correct size. So I'm trying to scale it accordingly to the two front teeth, And then it doesn't matter if the rest of the teeth don't fit perfectly, because I can fix that later. But now here, what I want to do is I want to check which silhouette shape I'm going to use for this patient. So by clicking long on top of this tool, we open up a tooth library. So we have the standard shape there, which is the existing one here. We have oval, rectangular, triangular, and square. And if you want to add your own shapes here, you can add as many shapes as you want, and you would see them added to this list. So you select the shape that would be the best starting point for this patient, and then you can start modifying the actual silhouette. So if we want to make all of the teeth shorter or longer, you can do that easily from here altogether, and then we can start modifying each of the teeth separately. So you can first of all decide how many teeth you want to have. Any of these teeth can be hidden if you want to design less teeth, or any of them can be of course shown, and you can even bring more teeth to be shown from here. So in all you can design up to 14 teeth, or as little as only one tooth. We can also modify any of the teeth by dragging them from the sides or from the top or the bottom, like this, or from these blue dots. So you can even add more blue dots by double-clicking on the line, or remove them also by double-clicking. So you can make any shapes that you want. You can also move the teeth here on the position, so there are no limitations for the designs that you can create. And when I mentioned that there are automatic measurements based on the calibration information that we have given, so you see these numbers that are written on top in the middle of each tooth. So we have the width of each tooth on top of them, the length of each tooth on the right side, and then the ratio of width to length in the middle. So with those numbers you can you can use those numbers as reference when you do the design. And if you want to have the golden proportions shown, you can, by right-clicking, you can select show proportions to tooth number 22, so then you would have the golden proportions ratios there. So you go and modify each of the teeth as necessary, like here. And once you have, for example, like I have done here now, I have been modifying only this side of the teeth, so I can now use this mirroring tool to mirror all of these teeth to the opposite side to get symmetry. But also if we don't want exact symmetry, we can always modify the teeth then further on the other side. So as said, that can be a helpful tool to get the symmetry, but it doesn't need to be followed exactly if not wanted. So for example, like that. If we then are happy with the size and the shape of the teeth, then the next step here is the fourth step. It's called the smile area. So with that we mark the lips of the patient. So we bring this line to follow the lips of the patient. Here also we can, by double clicking, we can add more points or remove any of the points, like that. So what this does is that it cuts off the part that of the teeth that is left under lip, as you can see here. And now then the next step is to add or modify and select the shade. So we have different tools for that. So we have the transparency here that we can adjust. We have the texture for the teeth that we can adjust, and we have the shades. So we have here the Vita Classical shades and some bleached shades that you can select. or if the patient would have already a good existing color on their teeth, you could use this color picker tool. Just clicking on it, selecting a shade, and that would be used. So you can use any of these. And once you have found a good shade, then you would be ready to show the patient before and after comparison with this button here. So you can show the before and after images side by side. Here you can even, if you click on P, you can directly start printing this comparison from your printer. Or if the patient thinks here, or you think that there are some changes that need to be made, you just click on any button, and then you can go and, for example, adjust the shade to a different one, maybe some wider shade, and go back and look if this would be better, or if some changes need to be done to the shape of the teeth. You can always, of course, go back to the silhouette and do the necessary changes. So very quick and easy tool to show realistic smiles to the patients. So all of this can be done while the patient is there discussing the treatment options with you, and after that, if you still want, you can also attach the retractor image here, as I told you before. So that one would be then this fifth step on the toolbar, intraoral image import. So from here we select the intraoral image, the retractor image. We click open, and we need to place these 2 points on the same positions on both images. So with the mouse right click, you can drag the points, and you drag them more or less to the same positions. And then what I like to do is I adjust the transparency into the middle. So then now I can still further adjust the teeth because here it's easier to see when the 2 images are overlapping correctly each other. Right there, I think. And then you can verify the match by adjusting the transparency back and forth. Yes. And then you click OK. So then the intraoral image will appear here on top of the face image. We have here on the right side toolbar, we have the intraoral image transparency button. So you can bring it more visible, and then you could open up the silhouette tool again to adjust the gingival areas of the teeth. So this specifically is interesting when we have teeth that are hidden under the lip when the patient is smiling. So you could do the necessary modifications to the gingival area here, and then you can always go back to the before and after view, or then all of this information, of course, can be sent to the lab. And apart from this, we have here, if we look, I will close this tool. So if we look down, we have drawing and measuring tools. So we could add any measurements, we could add any lines. Actually, let's do so that I will hide the intraoral image for a while, and let's do the, so we could add, if we want to add the midline lines, if we want to draw the smile lines. Let's go a bit closer for that purpose. So if we want to draw the smile line here, so all of these tools, they are found in the drawing and measuring tools here. And you can even add an implant if you need to explain the patient that this tooth would need to be replaced with an implant, so that can be added too. And then you can manage the annotations here. You can change their color, hide them, or delete them, for example. So a very multiple tools are found in the same software for all of the analytics of the patient's smile and face. And from here, so to pass all this information, you can create the 2-page PDF file report from this button. So you get automatically the clinic's information that is saved here once you type it in. You get automatically the patient's information here. You can add comments here, for example, shade A1. And then you just select where you want to save the report. And then you click on Save, and it will automatically create the 2-page PDF file, and it will be opened up in your PDF reader, as you can see here. So you have the patient information, your clinic information, the comments that you added. You will get the before and after images here. You will get the measurements of all the teeth that you had designed. You will get a close-up of the silhouette with all the measurements here. And you will see also the retractor image with the silhouette and all the annotations that you have made to the image. So this report is automatically created from ROM Axis. Then if you want to save your own silhouette shapes, those you can do so that you modify the silhouette into the shape that you want to save, and then you right click and you have here the possibility to save teeth design to library. So you do that, and let's say I name this model 1. Okay, so then next time even if you open another patient, you will see here on your tooth library that shape of the teeth also as a selection. And then if you are interested, or if your technician or lab is interested in bringing this 2D design on top of the 3D world, on top of the CADCAM systems, so we have the CADCAM export here. So once you click on there, you will get this copy of the silhouette and with this small dialogue. And I will now show you from a video how you can use these. So we have here a different patient, but we have done the smile design for her also, and then we go and click the CADCAM export button. We are now working here inside a ROM Axis, but remember it works as well with the other CADCAM systems. So once you have the silhouette here on top of everything, you just open up on the same computer the other CAD software or an orthodontic software. So you open up the patient's intraoral scan or the dental model that you have for them, and you position the dental model so that you would look at it from the same angle as you have taken the patient's face image from. And once you have it perfectly aligned, then you can bring the smile design silhouette on top of the dental model. So you place the midline accordingly first, and then you scale the silhouette onto the correct size. And here we cannot modify the silhouette anymore, so we are using it as reference for designing the restorations in the CADCAM system. We can check the matching with the transparency, and if we are happy with the match, then we use the lock button to lock the smile design silhouette in place. And now we would then start using the actual CADCAM software buttons to modify all the restorations, whether they are veneers or crowns. So we modify them so that they follow these reference lines from the smile design silhouette, as you can see here. And once we have modified all the teeth from this view, then we of course check the three-dimensional properties of each crown and restoration, and then we could either mill them from PMMA for the patient to try them in their mouth as a mock-up, or we could then export the STL files from here and create the printable 3D model and create the silicon key from there. So both of those ways work well for the mock-up creation, so that the patient can try the new smile in their mouth as well. Okay, but now we have seen through the demonstration of this patient, and I will now still show you that one mirroring tool. So I will open up another patient's face image quickly here. so that you can see that mirroring tool. So if you have a case like this, you may use directly the clone brush tool here and the mirroring tool that I told you about before. So this is very helpful. You can just select a spot with the mouse right button, and then with the mouse left button you can start copying that spot and that tooth to the other side. So you can very quickly show the patient before and after comparison with this tool. And that works of course with multiple teeth as well, or if you would have a badly shaped teeth on the other side but a good shape on the other side, so you can copy those. So as you can see, it works with any type of cases. You just need to decide on the case that you are working on. Depending on it, you need to decide which tools to first use or to use only. Okay, but let's go then back to the presentation for a while. So I want to let you know that there's a recording of the previously held webinar on our web pages and also on our Vimeo and YouTube pages. So if you're gonna want to go back and look at how something was done, I recommend you to go and look at that. I will also try to upload this webinar there. Then also if you want to see more information, I recommend you to visit our Smile Design web pages. You have there the link for the free trial. And also you have different descriptions on different tools as tutorial videos. So I want to thank you very much for attending this webinar. I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope you have learned a lot of new things, and I hope you are ready to start smile designing yourself. So if you yet haven't downloaded the free trial, please go and do it now. And if you later come up with any questions, you can always write us at smilesupport@planmeca.com. So thank you very much, and have a nice rest of the day. Bye bye.